trainers of all types, drafters of all disciplines, welcome to the MagneZONE. I am Cossack11, of course, and with me, as usual, is Adam.
Hey, what's up?
Clutch.
He put me not first. It's amazing.
And Sam.
I'm last. It makes sense.
Oh, oof. Sam is making this all about him now.
No, it makes sense though. Like it's alphabetical.
It
Adam,
is alphabetical. I was literally reading them off the Discord, and it lists it in alphabetical order, just like how we were gonna go over match coverage. It goes in alphabetical order, at least in the RDL sheet. It goes in alphabetical order. It doesn't on the Alola International sheet, which is fine.
Well, it goes by conference.
Yeah, it goes by conference on that sheet. Anyhow, we'll start as usual with the Royal Draft League, and then we'll move into Alola International. There's been one free agent transaction that's for both leagues. There's only been one this past week, and we will go over that after both of those. I will say it was for the RDL, so if you want to skip that portion, Alola International listeners, that's fine. Then we'll go into our Mon of the Week, and then we'll close out like we usually do. And it's so let's talk about what weeks it is. It's week 10. So we're getting very close to the closing stages here in the RDL. But as of week 10, there's the play. We're not going to go over the playoff picture. We are thinking about it. But as of week 10, things are a little muddy, and that's all I'm going to say on that. Then we have week 7 in Alola International. So we'll start, as usual, with Akron versus Rochester this week. So,
Jellison did the damn thing.
Yeah, it was a 3-0 win for Akron. Akron bringing Miltank, Rotom Heat, Jellison, Primarina, Caesar, and Mamoswine. Rochester bringing Darmanitan, Mega Beedrill, Skarmory, Hitmonlee, Tapu Koko, and Vaporeon.
Oh, I was so happy this Jellison set paid off. It was so risky.
Yeah, King Jelly's been doing really good these past few weeks for you.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks ago you were just like, I hate this thing and I never bring it. Now all of a sudden it's King Jelly.
Got 7 kills in 3 weeks.
I know that feel.
I did that with Kieran last season. I was like,
I did that with Comfey this season.
Wait, before week 8, I think it came once.
Twice. Yep. Oh, well, there you go.
Yep. So yeah, King Jelly, 2 direct kills, 2 passive kills.
Just a stall fest.
What was your set?
Let me pull it up.
It's like stall, recover.
Max HP,
Toxic?
almost max Spadef, little bit of speed to get over Skarmory. It was Taunt, Willow, Recover, Hex.
Taunt, Wisp, Hex.
Nice.
Speaking of Skarmory, can we talk about that Skarm set?
That Andrew brought the heat, and I respect that. It was beautiful.
This was a Skarm set with HP, Fire, and Flash Cannon. Oh my god.
With special attack investment.
Special attack investment.
That's amazing.
Yo,
Andrew,
and it got a kill.
It did.
It did.
Impressive.
Spoilers for my match. I played my match versus Edgar before Adam and Andrew played their match. Andrew wrote to me and was like, yo, did you win? Because if I won, he was out of playoffs. When I was like, yeah, I did, he was like, okay, I'm bringing the Skarm set. That was when he knew it's like, it has to come.
And that was when I knew we were pairing for off-season.
And this is a good time to tell you that this podcast is brought to you by viewers like Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you. I love that you synced for the thank you.
All right.
We got to get him like that.
So, moving down the list here, we go to Brooklyn. And, you know what? I'm going to move this to full screen. Hold on a second. Sorry. I had both spreadsheets like taking up a half of each screen, but it's getting
too much.
Not too much, but it's I have to scroll over to see the week summaries. So, anywho, a little peek behind the curtain there. As per usual, mark that off your bingo sheets. Brooklyn picked up the 5-0 against Pittsburgh this week. Pittsburgh brought Jolteon, Weezing, Serperior, Keldeo, Togekiss, and Excadrill. Brooklyn brought Ditto, Reuniclus, Mega Venusaur, Suicune, Crobat, and Xurkitree. What was the Suicune set? Do any of you guys know? Like, whoever watched that battle?
Sub Calm Mind.
Okay. Yeah.
And
That'll
he
do it.
set up on Togekiss and went in at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's a good set. I hate fighting Suicune, especially
Suicune's
when
nasty.
Santoro has it.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
He's got that Reuniclus, that Suicune, and he's got like these monsters. Like, hey,
What? Yeah,
Yeah.
this team is. It's
They're
nasty.
Suicune and Reuniclus are both like these dangerous, bulky setup things that, like,
Yeah.
if you don't have something to do about them, you're just gonna
right,
just
and you
kinda
have to
mow
have
you down.
You have to have something that whatever you're gonna do to them, you have to have something that can do it right then and there. Because all it's gonna take is one or two Calm Minds, and you're doomed.
Well, let me tell you about this
Personal
glorious.
experience on the fact of Calm Mind Reuniclus.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Yes. Let me tell everyone who is listening and just everyone in general about the wonders of this move called Taunt. Are you going up against a team that has bulky Mons that recover and set up on you? Consider running Taunt on every one of your Mons. Because why
Or
not?
better, consider running Roar.
Oh
Roar.
yeah.
Taunt, Haze, like bring
Whirlwind.
your dark type for
Yeah, it sounds
bring your dark types against like
You bring punishment. Punish them for setting up.
Yeah, and so you were talking about this match as you watched it, Adam. Like,
It was
'Cause it was-
56 turns long.
that's a lot of turns.
That's a lot of turns.
It really is
just,
a lot of turns.
Santora just played the long game super well.
like sub
He can with that team.
sub
Yeah.
Calm Mind Taunt. No, actually, that's too many moves. Like Calm Mind Taunt Keldale might have been able to do something.
Yeah. Well,
It was.
that's actually kind of an interesting set.
See, the thing
Yeah.
is, when he wants to be like, this is, I think, what makes Santoro a strong coach is he's very adaptable in his strategy. He can be very aggressive at times and break you down quick if he thinks that that's the strategy that'll beat you. But he's also willing to play long games if he needs to. Like, he's got the patience for it. He's very adaptable.
Clutch and I were talking about this as I was driving out to pit last week. It was this thing of like, in most Santoro games, you never get the feeling that he's not in control.
Right.
You get the feeling that like you don't like in most Santoro games, especially the ones where he wins. You just watch it and you're like, there's never a point at which I felt like his win con was particularly in danger,
Right.
regardless of how he plays it. He plays fairly soundly. So
Well,
with that-
I'll say that.
check real quick. I check off us talking about how good Santoro is because this
Well,
is like the fourth week in a row.
That's true,
You're
but
right.
but it's also it's true.
Well, it's true, but it's true. Yes.
Well, I think I maybe said this once before, but when you're facing Santoro, even if your matchup is favorable in terms of your Mons, it's a mentally exhausting battle.
Mhm.
It is,
Yeah.
because you feel like he's in control when you're playing him.
Yeah, I feel like the first match I played, I dodged that a little bit, but then
Yeah.
the second time he came around and learned from it, and
I think
you know,
the
Yeah.
beat me
rematch-
pretty hard in the
if you
semifinals.
beat Santoro, the second game is the toughest one.
You know, I actually want to see. I want to see the stats on that because I want to see how often he picks up the win on the rematch if he loses.
That would be an interesting way to look
Like
at it.
I think I'm gonna look into that maybe after this and bring it up again next podcast because I actually I'm very interested to know this.
It's a shame we don't have a bigger sample size. But anyways,
that's
moving
true
on.
too. All right, so we move on to Chicago versus Ohio. I watched this one this week. I know Cossack watching matches. It's a shocker.
It's true. Brings.
The brings for Chicago, we have Rhydon, Mega Sharpedo, Blacephalon, Flygon, Ninetales, Alolan, and Toxicroak versus Ohio bringing Mega Latias, Lando T, Galvantula, Ferrothorn, Skuntank, and Volcanion.
Toxicrack, no.
So I'm actually okay. So let's talk about this match was it was a 3-0 win for Mike. I think part of that is because Mike played a very safe game. Like he was going he was making like willing to sacrifice Mons to get guaranteed kills, and that's fine.
Yeah.
He like that's I can respect that because I had to do something similar against Chicago when I faced them. And it really was just, the match was very quick. It was 17 turns, and it was a slugging match the whole way through, but Mike did a really good job in the early game setting up with Galvantula, and Mike's just good with using Galvantula in general. Like, he's one of the better Galvantula users I've seen. Because
He gets more out of it than Webs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Which
yeah,
is
he
what you
picked up
need
a
to
kill
do
in
if you're
this
gonna-
match. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be able to kind of position that thing because it's frail, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it's gonna take hits. It's gonna take damage due to rocks and due to spikes and whatever hazards are there. But it is like it's a decent speed tier, and Thunder does hit hard.
Yeah.
Like, and 30% para chance is fantastic.
Oh, and the
I
para
saw
procced,
both
and it helped
paras.
him out.
Mhm.
Also, Unnerve is a thing.
It is.
Yeah, and that's a
I
good
think
set.
it proc. Maybe no. I was thinking of a different match that para procced. Never
Yeah.
mind.
But the other thing was that the Lando taking a hit from Ice Shard from Alola Ninetales. That was interesting because I'm just remembering. I remember I saw this match earlier in the week as well.
Yeah. So you want to talk about matches where people kind of plan past each other a little bit? I think that did happen here. Ferrothorn was, I'm pretty sure, specially invested in terms of defense because it took from Mega Sharp, it took a crunch and that did 50% damage. Like, that took half its health off. And that's not a defensively
really
invested
cool?
Ferrothorn. I don't think, anyway.
You know what's super cool is that we have these things called calcs, and I can go and do that calc real quick.
I mean, yeah, I usually don't like doing calcs during the show, but yeah, go for it. We do it
Mhm, 'cause
occasion.
the-
We do it on occasion. I would
the-
like to know if that was the case, because maybe I'm wrong. I haven't used
'Cause
Ferrothorn in a long time. So.
The thing is, of course, that you go from steel resisting dark to steel being neutral to dark. That's
Right.
a neutral hit that's like stab and actually hits pretty hard.
And also,
Check
yeah,
out
it is
the
also
Strong
strong
Bingo
jaws
cards.
boosted.
And it talks
yeah.
about old gens.
Yeah. Check that one off. But yeah, no. A max HP 48 defense CVs, like the standard Smogon Ferrothorn, takes 49 to 58.
Okay, so he was
Yeah.
probably
It's-
in that ballpark in terms of his
Yeah,
investment.
honestly, like if he ran max defense, then it's 38 to 45. It's like it's not outside of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
It could have been a mixed Ferrothorn. It just wasn't max HP, max defense.
Yeah, which, I mean, you don't really need to run max HP, max
Mhm.
defense on Ferrothorn usually. And
Man, Shark is dumb.
yeah,
Shark is ridiculous.
Shark is very dumb, and Shark tanked a U-turn from Lando T, but I think the Lando T wasn't attack invested.
Hmm.
I think it was defensively
What's funny
invested.
is that Mega Shark actually gets like a little bit more bulk when it
does,
Mega
yeah.
evolves, and it can take one smaller hit, and then keep going, which is fun.
Yeah.
Needless to say.
Yeah,
Mega Shark's a fantastic Pokemon, especially in
Yeah.
leagues without the first turn Mega Claws.
yeah.
So
It's a pretty decent cleaner, even in leagues without
Mhm.
that, or even in leagues with first turn. It's an okay cleaner.
mhm.
It hits
decent
hard
speed
enough.
tier.
Yeah, decent speed tier. Hits
If you
pretty
get
hard.
if you get it on Webs,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's the same thing.
Now another.
True.
Okay, so going to a notable set that I kind of thought was odd was Chicago didn't have dry skin on Toxicroak, and I'm inclined to believe I might be wrong. I think maybe they didn't when they were breeding or genning or whatever Storm does to get her team together. She might have forgot to put dry skin on it because she switched it into Volcanion, and it almost got OHKO'd by a steam eruption. Which, if it was dry skin, it wouldn't have taken any damage. And she
Yeah.
switched it in like it was supposed to be a counter for Volcanion, but
It's tough to say because Dry Skin is like a
yeah,
double-edged sword against Volcanion.
against Volcanion, yeah, because fire. I
You
don't
take
know.
More damage from Fire Blast. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, like I guess it depends. Well, and it would depend on what calcs Storm did in advance. Because if she did the calcs, she'd realize that it's like if you're gonna use it to potentially counter, you might as well just give it dry skin because you got a 50-50 chance that you're switching in on either a Fire Blast or a Steam Eruption. She had Blacephalon in before then, so the chances that it was gonna be Steam Eruption were pretty good.
And water moves are just fairly spammable in general.
Yeah,
Water
Yeah.
resist is.
yeah.
Shark
Well, and
is
also
Mega Shark.
even against things that resist water, like Steam Eruption has a really high burn chance.
Yeah, Spec Steam Eruption is just so hard to switch into.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, so it could go either way there. And honestly, there's an argument for either set. I think Dry Skin would have been better, but She might have had her reasons for it. And she did end up taking out the Volcanion later. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head with what, but
moving on.
Yeah, moving on to our next battle.
It was with the Flygon.
Oh, it was with Flygon, right?
Flygon actually put in good work.
Yeah, Flygon did really good. She was packing Z Draco on that thing, and it was putting in the work that it needed to put in. That's for sure. And moving on, we have Numa with EC versus the San Antonio Sceptiles, and it was a 4-0 win for the Sceptiles. So the Brings, before we get too much into brass tacks here, the Brings Sceptiles brought Manaphy, Crocodile, Megalatios, Lucario, Florges, and Bronzong. EC brought Megapincer, Gastrodon, Conkeldurr, Klefki, Ferroseed, and Porygon 2. Notably, not a very fast team from EC this week.
Yeah, and that was kind of a little bit of their downfall. Is I feel like EC got caught in kind of the mid ground where they didn't have the stall or the
they didn't have to
backbone.
Yeah, they didn't have the bulk to tank the hits they needed to tank, but they didn't have the speed to revenge kill the things that were breaking them.
That is correct.
I've been in that place before. It was all of season 2.
Oof. So yeah, one thing that I thought was good is it was Dominator actually like showing that he really is comfortable with that team. He played Florges really, really well in the early game. First turn was Florges clicking Magic Coat as Ferroseed tried to set rocks, which I thought was fantastic.
He's really good at using Florges.
Yeah, he
definitely is very familiar with that Mon's capabilities and how it works.
Yeah. And there's a couple of good things. I think that the prep on Dominator's end was really good. Bronzong is a fantastic bring against a team with Megapincer.
Mm-hmm.
Just overall great.
It's kind of just a necessity bring.
Yeah, although
something to take Megapincer hits.
Just a quick thought actually, like kind of an interesting note is that Bronzong isn't as good a bring against Megapincer in a league without first turn Mega because it could have Mold Breaker and could just Earthquake.
Right.
Which is kind of interesting. But like I was just thinking about that. I was like, doesn't Pinsir have Mold Breaker? But no, like Mega Pinsir has Aerialate. But anyways, yeah, and against Mega Pinsir here, Bronzong was a fantastic bring. I thought that Numa's really only shot at winning was to get Mega Pinsir set up and then to just roll through everything. And even then, that was kind of tough because Megaladios was waiting in the back.
Oh yeah.
There's just so much pressure applied by Dominator's team.
Yeah. I mean, when the dude can field Manaphy and Megaladios, and that's just like
because
it's hard to live both of those.
Yeah, because like you're talking about two really good setup mons that also have decent power even when not set up.
Yeah, I mean, two fantastic setup mons for sure.
Oh yeah.
And
in a lot of cases, Megaladios doesn't even need to set up.
Yeah,
it just comes.
And when you're also packing things, I mean, he had Lucario in the back, He had Krook in the back. Those two didn't even see the field.
Actually, Lucario did. Lucario picked up a kill.
Oh yeah, sorry, Lucario picked
Krook
up a kill.
And Manaphy. Manaphy was in, but Manaphy got KO'd. Krook is the only thing that didn't see.
Sorry, Krook is the one that didn't see the field really.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see it at all, as far as I can tell. But I haven't watched the match, so I wouldn't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it didn't, if I recall correctly.
Well,
but anyways. We can. I think that's really all to say about the match is that it was a fantastic, it was good prep by Dominator and EC just I don't even really think had the roster to handle it.
Yeah,
so.
I mean it's tough when you have those situations when you look at a roster and you see Megalodi, Manaphy, and you're like how do I beat this team? And you look at your roster and the answer is not you have nothing. There is no way.
You just can't let it set up.
It's really when you have a team like EC's got right now and you're facing a team like San Antonio, you're walking a razor's edge because if you have any chance of winning, you have to walk this really fine line between super risky, high risk, high reward and playing it safe enough that your win con isn't getting instantly nuked by something. This is just one of those situations where they tilted maybe a little bit too much in the safe direction when team building and not enough in the gamble
Something you can
direction.
say is like, this team is really a bit reliant on setting up.
Yeah.
So trying to, and if you can high pressure, just apply pressure to deny that, or just click
Definitely.
taunt
And this
deny the setup in the first place.
And it's it's like Sam said that it fell into that weird speed category where it wasn't fast enough to pressure to prevent the setup, but it wasn't bulky enough to tank the setup. So
moving on.
Yep. Galesburg versus, scrolling down, San Jose. All right, and this was a 2-0 win for San Jose. Galesburg bringing Komao, Sneasel, Empoleon, Delmise, Necrozma, and Mega Gallade. San Jose bringing Blastoise, Sylveon, Rabombi, Victini, Minxiao, and Mega Gyarados. Mega Gyara picking up those kills, 3 kills.
Mega Gyara just had a great matchup against Galesburg in the first.
Yeah.
That's true. Looking at that, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
And
did.
like
that dark water typing is really good.
Victini didn't have any answers on the roster, so just naturally it's a fantastic ring as well.
Mhm.
There's literally nothing that switches into that duel on that team.
The best switch in was Rabombi.
Yeah.
Or MagneZOne. Which
Oh,
not
what?
taking
No.
around, like,
You want to switch that?
Yeah, I was gonna say
San
Rabombi's
Jose
on
has-
the same team as Victini.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
right. I was looking at the wrong roster.
Nice one.
Hey, it's not me this
Hey.
I
time.
took 3 tests this week. I'm
Like-
tired.
Yeah,
As we
it's
saw,
all
like,
right.
It's all
Napoleon
good.
took 70. Like Necrozma took 70 from Blue Flare. Like
Yeah.
doesn't have a good.
Yeah, that's
like,
Beck's blue player just kind of pop.
just broke the
Yeah.
door open for Mega Gyara to get in and get
Yeah.
some kills. And
And that's the thing is like in this matchup, I think if you just look at the bring list and you look at Galesburg's side, you think to yourself like if Necrozma doesn't go in, they lose. Like
Mhm.
that's the one thing there that they
Yeah.
could have gotten going that could have won it for them. And even then,
Mega
there's that
Gallade, I
Mega.
guess, kind of
Well,
Oh, that's
yeah,
fair.
I
Yeah.
will, speed tier doesn't match.
I
The speed tier
will
run into
say,
Mindshow, Rabombi just in general.
yeah.
It does have to be boosted to deal with Sylveon.
So
That's
I think
fair enough.
I will say though, credit to Galesburg holding that differential there at least, holding it to a 2-0. So it's a relatively close match.
And of course, our hindsight is 2020 here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we are the MagneZOne.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So yeah, I'm gonna put that little caveat in here now. If because I've been getting many PMs from people about things that we said. Look, we're not criticizing your decision making. It's the heat of the moment. We've all made decisions that in hindsight look questionable in a match, because when you're in the battle, you see lines of play maybe that when you're under stress like that maybe you don't see as well later on, or other people looking at that match aren't gonna see, because we have the luxury of time to, like, especially in a Wi-Fi league when you always have a timer going.
That 90 seconds is just always there.
So we have a luxury of being able to look and see with 2020 hindsight what the play maybe could have been instead, or what the brings could have been instead, and we understand that, like, because we've all been there and we've all made mistakes with our brings. Like, I'm about to talk about one of my match this week. I made some mistakes, so don't take it personally when we say things, and you don't need to defend yourselves. You made your decisions. Stand by those decisions, and I'm glad that you're standing by those decisions, because that's what's going to make you better. But at the same time, we're just looking at potential lines of play. We're adding commentary. It's all color commentary, so you can take or leave as much of it as you want. That's all I wanted to say here. I just don't want another 6 PMs in my box throughout the next week with paragraph long posts about sets that we talked about
Moving
in
on.
passing.
To everyone who PM'd Cossack, why didn't you PM me instead? I'm hurt. Honestly.
Yeah, why are you talking to me about this stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you talking to Cossack?
Okay,
Jeez.
so
Moving
so
on
now
to speaking of Cossack.
so speaking of me and harsh criticism, it's myself
Harsh
versus
outcome.
so Liverpool versus LA Chargebugs. LA brought Hoopa U, Mega Blastoise, Whimsicott, Slurpuff, Kecleon, and Salamence. I brought Jirachi, Mega Aerodactyl, Entei, Hydreigon, Comfey, and Rotom Wash. It was a 1-0 loss for me. And once again, I can say, fuck Slurpuff. I have a storied history with that Mon, and it's all bad.
To all the parents listening, we're sorry about the F-bomb.
We're sorry, but if any Mon deserves it, it's that Cupcake. I'm not sorry. I have a storied history with that Mon in season 2, or was it season 2 or season 1? Season 1, I think. Santoro.
No, season 2.
Nope, season 2. Santoro swept you with it.
Yeah, he swept me with that crappy Cupcake, and
that put the fear of the Cupcake in me, my guy. I ran the craziest tech against Santoro to make sure that he could not set up.
So first of all, what I'm going to say about this match is
it was a dirty match.
It was a dirty match. There was so much hacks. Yeah, it was hacks on both sides. I got a 10% freeze on Salamence from Jirachi's Ice Punch.
20%. 20%.
Oh, 20%. Sorry, yeah, that's right, because it's Jirachi, right? Yeah. So I got a 20% freeze on the Salamence, which if I hadn't gotten that, probably would have went way worse for me. But I also took a crit scald on. Comfey took a crit scald from Mega Blastoise that also procced burn.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, and to be fair, it still held, it held its own pretty well in there, despite the, it still did a lot of damage to Mega Blast. It put up a fight before going down. I was proud of it. But basically what it ended up coming down to was he had Slurpuff and Whimsicott. Whimsicott gets Tailwind up. I didn't know that Tailwind provided a 2x boost. I thought it was a 1.5x boost. So I left Hydreigon in when I probably should have switched it out against Slurpuff. Slurpuff ends up KOing Hydreigon. Then I make another mistake, and instead of putting in Jirachi to wear out Tailwind, I put in Mega Aerodactyl, who was a one-hit KO because it was on like 23 health. Mega Aerodactyl goes down, he gets Belly Drum up and sweeps my remaining 2 Mons.
Good knowledge for future, though.
Yeah, it's definitely I'm still my problem is I'm still, I think maybe I'm in this weird situation where I usually go one way or the other. Either I play too aggressively or I don't play aggressively enough, and it's kind of what's been screwing me out of a lot of these close matches these past few weeks.
And I think that, like, for people who feel like they're in that situation in general, one of the best things you can do is like grab a good ladder team and play a bunch on Showdown, because the thing is that kind of game sense only comes from playing a lot of games.
Yeah.
And like and that's the thing, is these people who you see who have really, really good perception of that, the people like Santoro and things like that, they have
Santoro has, like, if you look at his YouTube channel, he's got a bunch. He's in like multiple draft leagues.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's another thing that just, it comes from like Mon's experience in general, not just draft league experience.
Right.
And so, but yeah, I think that also that sequencing thing, same thing.
Yeah.
And also the Tailwind thing, you run into the odd Tailwind team when you're just like BSing around on Showdown, and all of a sudden you're like, man, I don't know enough about how this works. Or like you run into a team that's trying to use Z Stockpile, and you're like, oh, what does Z Stockpile do? There's a lot of usefulness to like playing around in Showdown to figure that stuff out. Well,
and I'll give credit where credit's due. Meta did a good job playing that end game out.
He actually did. He did exactly what he had to do.
Yeah,
to his credit,
he did the best possible. I think that was probably the best possible play he could have done there.
He
knew he was going to lose Whimsicott, so he got that Tailwind up, and it worked.
I think the best play there actually was that he recognized that he had to sack Whimsicott.
Yeah,
and so like the clicking, because at first Clutch and I were both confused. We were like, why did he defog there? And it was like, well, he had to leave that thing in to die.
Yeah.
Only better thing he could have done is
Yeah.
He had did he have a?
I don't know if he had a Fairy Stab move. He didn't.
Did he have Moonblast? Well, the other thing is that you would have outsped anyway if he knew you were a Scarf. There, no point.
Yeah, I think he figured out that I was Scarfed, based on damage calcs. And
in Tailwind he would have outsped though.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Jeez.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
it got him the win. So like,
yeah.
So moving on, moving on to get away from my shame. To a match that hasn't happened yet. LA Solgalios versus Oregon Gold Ducks. That hasn't happened. Or is
The
it?
only one left is Sam's.
Yep.
Yo.
So yeah, let's go to Seattle versus dun 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 Philadelphia. That was a 2-0 win for Seattle. Gudra, Tyrantrum, Staraptor, Megacizor, Infernape, and Celebi were the brings for the Supersonics. And the Braviaries brought Donphan, Torny T, Megalopony, Kyurem Black, Toxapex, and Aromatisse.
I'm really proud of the prep that Clutch and I put in on this one, because this is like a nightmare matchup for us, I will say.
Yeah, looking at the roster you had to face, it's a pretty stacked roster.
My fastest Mon, or our fastest Mon on this team, is Starmie at 115.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of the field is Tornadus T and Mega Lopunny that outspeed my two fastest Mons naturally.
Tornadus
and those
T
two
is
things,
such a tough Mon to deal with.
Yep. So Clutch and I went in, we looked at like what we brought last time, and we decided that the win con for this match is getting Tornadus T paralyzed. If we can do that, we can win the match. So right away, I think I was like driving home and we were talking through the prep, and I was like, "Yo, what about Celebi? Celebi's a good bring here." And between the two of us talking about it, we were like, if we put Thunderwave on this thing, it baits in the Tornadus.
Yep.
And so we were excited. And the idea was, play very aggressively with Celebi in the sense that like aggressively predict a switch to Tornadus T. And in execution, that ended with me clicking Thunderwave when Celebi was sitting across from a Donphan, which is a bold play. And then when the Donphan doesn't switch out, you kind of look like an idiot as it sets rocks on you.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of good things that happened. I took out his Donphan early because after he left it in to set rocks, I just Giga Drained it and it died. There's a couple times he tried to set like T-Spikes on me. Mega Scizor had a great match here. I got Aromatisse paralyzed on the other side, and it was able to kind of like stall it out. I got lucky with para chances, but man, there was hacks in this battle. Like it was also kind of a dirty match in some ways. I got full paras on Aromatisse that kept him from being able to hidden power fire my Scizor, which would do about 50. And then also I tried to T-Wave a Mega Lopunny and missed. And then
that hurts.
Yep. And then the other big hacks moment was that I got Tyrantrum in on his on his Tornadus T. My Tyrantrum is scarfed, so clicking Head Smash here is basically just something has to take this giant, super powerful move. He switches in his Toxapex that's at about 70 when it comes in. It takes the Head Smash and takes like 45%. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm going to click this Head Smash again. I'm going to take out this Toxapex. Everything's going to be great. And then I miss the Head Smash.
Oh, no.
Take a Scald and get burned in a single turn. So all of a sudden, my Scarfed Tyrantrum, which is just this powerhouse against this man, I went from like, I'm about to kill this Pex to this Pex is still alive, and the thing that could just wipe out most of his team is now burned. I honestly, like, I almost wrote to Clutch at that moment and was just like, I quit Mons. This game is such garbage. But then what ended up happening is that after that, I ended up saving the Tyrantrum. It ended up coming in handy later, even though it was burned to get chip on Mega Lopunny. And eventually, I managed to get his Tornadus T paralyzed, and that left the door open for things like in theory, it left the door open for Infernape, but Infernape didn't even have to see the field. Mega Scizor ended up kind of cleaning out everything. What else put in work there? There was one more thing.
Gudra, my guy.
Yeah, Gudra. Holy cow. Gudra KO'd a Kyurem Black from full when Gudra was at -2. Gudra is my savior, honestly. Gudra's my MVP in my heart.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say.
Well,
that's a lot on that one battle. But
that closes out RDL for this week. And as of that that battle, the playoff positioning as of week 10 still kind of up in the air in a lot of cases. So we're not going to do playoff picture until next week, when it's definitely going to firm up, because it's week 11. If it doesn't firm up by then I don't know what to tell you. And so we're going to move into our Alola International coverage, and it's yep, okay. I'll remember that for later. I was just remembering the timestamp. So starting as usual with the Lowland Quakes, coached by Grounded Gliscor, we have...
Nope.
No?
Nope.
That's the one match that hasn't been played.
Oh, wait.
Oops.
Is it week 6 and not week 7?
It's
It
week
is
6.
week
Yes.
6.
Oh, I got it wrong at the beginning and no one corrected me.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
You moved on quick.
So that match hasn't happened yet, so never mind. Forget I said anything. We're not starting with Lowland.
Mhm.
We're starting with Colorado versus LA. So if you have bingo, raise your hands. Anyway, LA picked up the win 5-0. They brought Mega Camerupt, Gengar, Garchomp, Shaman, Necrozma, and Primarina versus Colorado's Mesprit, Zygarde 50, Slurpuff, Mega Manectric, Heatran, and Tangrowth.
I watched this game.
Necrozma went gangbusters.
Necrozma was a set. It was a Trick Room, Calm Mind, Moonlight, Stored Power. And
Ooh.
again, folks, reasons why dark types are important. So both psychics don't sit up on you and anything they want. So it was really slow and Calm Mind, Trick Room, and essentially just sat there and set up in front of a Tangrowth, which for some reason Earthlab kind of didn't switch out. I don't know the reasoning. I feel like a taunt trend might have been able to help taunt toxic heat ran, something akin to that would have been very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and then like so I think Cosmo literally like sat in front of like Tangrowth and went to pretty much +6 and set up Trick Room and clicked Sword Power a few times and got 3 kills. When you do 90 something to heat ran, it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Oof. That's damage.
And
Yeah,
then like this just opened the door.
Mm-hmm.
Garchomp, Camera, and Gengar to finish it off.
It's worth noting that's good recognition by Jarrett that Colorado didn't have a dark type. Like there's no dark type on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
And resistances to stored power really don't matter. I mean, that did, like you were saying, that it did what, 97% to a full health Heatran.
Yep, from a heat ran from full. Like
that's not enough, right?
That's not a
Not
counter.
enough to KO, but it's not a counter or really even check. Like,
So let me ask this. Let me pose this question then. For as far as dark types go, obviously you want a dark type on your team, and in most leagues, it's you usually still have a decent dark type on the table. But
Yeah.
for the sake of argument, what's the threshold for are you gonna put up dark type on your team even if it's not necessarily a good dark type, but
If
you
it's
just
a skun,
if
like
it's a
skun
skun
tank, I
tank,
guess.
yeah,
I
or
mean,
something
If you don't have a dark type, then you need some way to get a boosted mon out, whether that be red card,
right?
phasing with like
I
Dragon
mean-
Tail or Roar, whether you click
Like-
Haze, Taunt, you cannot let them get set up and stay in. And
Because
beat.
I'm posing this question because it's something that could theoretically come up, especially if you're in like a 24-person league where all the good dark types get snapped up before you get a chance to get any of them.
Then do what I did and take it round 1.
Yeah, that's usually what you want to do. To be fair, I do
Okay.
think that a good dark type should be a priority pick for your team for exactly this reason.
What I would say as well, as somebody who played a whole season of RDL and made playoffs without a dark type, the biggest thing is it forces you to run Roar all that more often. Like,
That's true. That's
because if the fear is bulky psychic types, it just meant that like I felt like I was running Roar and Heatran quite a bit. I ran so much support like Spadef Tran that season because that's what I had on my my team.
That's
And that's what I had to do, right?
Right,
It's just
yeah.
it resists psychic moves. Like, so once the thing gets +1, it's still not really a threat, and you're free to roar it out and make them do something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can get by if you have something that can take a hit
yeah.
and then roar.
Right. And like there's like I think phasing in general, something you don't see a lot of in smaller draft leagues, like in the 16 to like the 8 to 16 team range. You just don't see a lot of phasing. I think mainly because people don't end up getting pushed into that situation where they have to run a phaser, and there's usually better ways to get a mon out than phasing, because you can usually put a better move on there. I'm not saying it's always the best bet, because I ran Roar on Entei this week, and it worked beautifully. Like, it did what I needed it to do. I think phasing still has a place, but it's less common is what I'm getting at. Not necessarily bad, but less common.
That's just the way the metagame kind of shifted to a more offensive metagame.
Yeah.
Like when you're looking at like old gens like Snorlax,
yep,
Suicune, and etc. And like we just move kind of towards the revenge killing factor.
Yep.
Kind of
right. Now. So let's move on to LA Chargebugs versus Waynesboro. This is a close match. It was 1-0. This was a 32-turn match, which is, I would say it's not long, but it's getting towards the longer end of the spectrum in terms of battle length. But it felt like a 60-turn battle. And I think it's just because both of these teams are like, they're kind of balanced teams. And like, because I mean, I'll read the brings here. Waynesboro is the one who won 1-0. They brought Alolan Raichu, Alolan Ninetales, Tapu Koko, Mega Gallade, Torniti, and Jellicent, versus the Chargebugs, which had Mega Beedrill, Porygon 2, Salamence, Victini, Cryogonal, and Klefki. So you got both these teams that have, reasonable, like semi-reasonable, like defensive-ish cores with recovery that also have like, some really fast breakers / cleanup sweepers on the sides to kind of get in once things are chipped down. And it really kind of was an attrition game because there's lots of swapping back and forth. And it ended up coming down to a 1-versus-1 with Alola Raichu versus Mega Beedrill, and Alola Raichu is on electric terrain, so it outspeeds literally everything. And that's I think that's what it came down to, is in the end game, Waynesboro did an excellent job of maneuvering the situation because they were down to, it was a 2-versus-2. It was Porygon 2 and Mega Beedrill on the Chargebug side, and it was Raichu and Tapu Koko. Oh, low health Tapu Koko, I might add, on Waynesboro's side. So Waynesboro brought in Tapu Koko on Pori 2, got that electric terrain up, tanked a foul play from Porygon 2, and then managed to do enough to Porygon 2 that it was going to get OHKO'd and revenge killed by Alolan Raichu once it brought down Tapu Koko. See, now this is me, like, my hindsight being 2020 kind of thing. I think Porygon 2 still had some recovers left. I don't know. But it has 16 PP, and I don't think he used it 16 times. I would have clicked recover after the after the foul play didn't work, to get Porygon 2 back up to closer to full health for exactly this reason. But meta didn't, and so Porygon 2 got revenge killed by Alolan Raichu, and then Alolan Raichu nuked Mega Beedrill with Psychic, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of a game, if someone's giving you chances to get free recovery onto something,
you take it.
Just take it. Like, you can afford to go a couple more turns. There's no reason to get impatient and try and just like click attacking moves.
Yeah.
And maybe they had a reason for going for it then and there, but it seems like that. Yeah, that's the thing, is that a full health or like a mostly healthy Porygon 2 can definitely take a hit from Mega.
Because I think it was at a little bit above 50 when Tapu Koko hit it. And if he had just used recover after the foul play, he would have still been above 50 probably, or like he would have been close to 50, and that might have been enough to tank the revenge kill from Alolan Raichu.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, it's hindsight, and it's one of those things where meta's he's not as aggressive as he used to be, but he's still more of an aggressive player than I am. I'm a bulk player. I see an opportunity to recover. I'm going to take that opportunity.
I mean, I still feel like no matter what, if someone's leaving you the opening to recover with a Mon, you recover with a Mon, regardless
true.
of the style you play. Because like,
Well, yeah.
if
I'm
someone's doing
I'm
less
giving the
than
benefit of the doubt here
yeah.
in terms of like reasoning. But hey, it's been an interesting week for meta. 2 1-0s, 1 against, 1-4 in different
enough.
leagues.
So ready to move on?
Yep. And we're going to move right on to the Brooklyn Bennetts versus the Atlanta Altaria. And this is a 3-0 win for the Bennetts. They brought Kofagrigus, Livani, Thunderous T, Embor, Starmie, and Aromatisse. Atlanta brought Claydol, Megalop, Thunderous Eye, Kartana, Gudra, and Feraligatr. Wow, the Thundo versus Thundo. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was the match of Kofagrigus.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
got 2 direct kills this time.
Literally just... It did the damn thing.
I mean, Kofagrigus is a tough mon to deal with because, like, it's bulky and it has an ability that nullifies other, like, physical attackers' abilities. So physically breaking it, you're doing that with the acknowledgement that you're going to lose your ability.
Kofagrigus is weird like that though, because like it's super physically bulky, but it doesn't take neutral special hits super well.
No.
Low HP, low SPDF.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Adam, you were saying it's like it got a burn on Megalop turn 2.
Yeah, and then put up T-Spikes turn 4.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Because the thing is, yeah, any match where you brought Megalop and it got burned 2 turns in is a bad match. Like,
Yeah, that's gonna be that's an uphill battle.
It's a rough. Yeah. It's a rough day. Starting
Gudra and Feraligatr really tried their hardest to bring that match back for her, but
Kofagrigus I think
just stood tall at the end. That
Kofagrigus
Rocky helmet was
shows
even
good
better.
prep. It shows good prep here.
It was just good prep on Slimy's part.
Because, like, Feraligatr, Kartana, Megalop, they're all physical attackers, and they're very powerful physical attackers. But Feraligatr wants its sheer force. It loses it if it hits Kofagrigus at all.
True.
Unless you're,
Quick shout out to the most heat Thunderous Therian set I've ever seen. Bulk Up Superpower Fly Wild Charge.
Whoa.
Yo, that's tight.
And it went in.
Yeah, it really came down to just like really good prep on Brooklyn's part. It was a solid prep. I can't speak for the actual match, but it sounds like it was a very solidly played match.
Oh yeah, it was played well for the most part on both parts.
Yeah.
What was the Gudra set? Was it physical or special?
Special Poisonium Z.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Gudra is kind of a sleeper when it comes.
Smacked up that Aromatisse.
Yeah, Gudra is
nice.
kind of a sleeper when it comes to Zmus. People a lot of time, like when people see Gudra.
Oh, that is one of the best Z
but
captains.
I would venture to say on a team with like Thundo Eye and like Kartana, there's other mons that you more commonly see Z moves on.
It depends on the person, and it's also Z points instead of.
That's true. I forget that this is a
Z
Z points.
captains.
Yeah, I forget this is a points league for.
So it's either tier 1, tier 5, or tier 3, and then you can actually do some. Tier 3, and then you can actually do some things.
That's
besides
fair.
that.
And you're right. Gudra is actually a very good Z captain, but I don't see it as often.
I think that
tier 3, Gudra's tier 2.
Yeah, Gudra's tier 2. The thing is,
well, it's I'm thinking. I think I got mixed up with PCL. Did I actually say a tier?
No,
there?
I said it was tier 3.
Okay,
maybe.
But and here's the thing: we've Clutch and I have had the discussion about making Gudra a Z captain. We opted against it just because like it does like having other items, but the thing is that it is decent as a Z captain because it has coverage on both sides.
Yeah,
like that's the thing is like.
Has a deep coverage
whole lot of
pool.
It has a reasonable coverage move pool, but the thing that I like about it is that it hits on both sides of the fence.
That's true.
It's a good mon to be a Z captain, but also like enjoys being able to have specs or band or chestoberry or
assault
vest or Scarf, yeah, even Scarf Gudra, and then Scarf Gudra can be on either side. It's just such a good mod.
It's a very
I love
versatile
Gudra.
mon.
So
Yep.
we could keep going forever, but that's the match of Cofagrigus.
Definitely the match of Cofagrigus. And we've already talked about all those. So moving on to Brisbane versus Alola. So it's the Alola Arches versus the Brisbane Scythers. Brisbane Scythers pick up the win 2-0. Mega Medicham, Raichu, Reuniclus, Tornadus Eye, Ferrothorn, and Zygarde 10 are the brings. Alola brought Abomasnow, Decidueye, MagneZOne, Excelgor, Guzzlord, and Mega Gardevoir. And Mega Medicham, as usual, picking up a ton of kills. 4, in fact.
Yeah, there was actually nothing on Eclipse's roster that could stop a Mega Medicham.
You want to talk about...
He brought a Focus Sash Abomasnow, and then I think it was Yachi Berry on Decidueye and Choppleberry on Guzzlord.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to stop this Mega Medicham, but D. Willie just played around it, and the Mega Medicham is just a monster.
Well, and D. Willie, from what I've seen so far, he's very... We talk about coaches that are comfortable with certain mons. He's clearly very comfortable with using Mega Medicham.
He's comfortable with that whole roster.
Yeah.
It scares me.
Mega Medicham is 16-1.
Yeah.
Hey, guess who that one was?
Yo, credit
He's
to
over here.
yo, and credit to D. Willie for being the first not grounded Gliscor coach to beat Eclipse.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Eclipse, it's no mean feat.
Eclipse beat everybody last season except for.
Wait,
Eclipse
hold on a second. There's a I
week.
think there might be an error on the sheet here because it says that Alola picked up 5 kills, but it says 2-0. So
we can leave it to grounded. Leave it to grounded and Adam to sort out.
Anyways. Well, okay.
What error?
I mean, you guys can check that out later. Either way, though.
No, it actually was a 1-0 because I watched this match.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it said 2.
All right. Well, hey, it's now updated. So moving on to, see, that's what we're really here for. See, we're not here to cover Alola International. We're just here to look over the spreadsheet. We're spreadsheet checkers. That's what we do. We look for typos, things like that, quality control. We're like OSHA, but for spreadsheets.
Oh, good heaven.
Scotia.
So, next battle.
Yep. So next battle is the California Kyogres versus the Virginia Caesars. And California picked it up 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the brings were California brought Smeargle, Seismitoad, Xurkitree, Alolan Muck, Mega Garchomp, Kyurem Black. Virginia brought Galvantula, Mega Pinsir, Pyroar, Nidoqueen, Lucario, and Tapu Fini.
Yep. And I caught this one.
Kyurem Black went in.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
It did.
Your steel type is Lucario.
That's
true.
true.
When your steel type is Lucario, there's not much preventing Kyurem Black on the other side from clicking Outrage. Even
if you have a Tapu Fini.
Yeah. Apparently. Even in the case that, so early on in this match, one of the first things that happens is turn 1 sleep on Galvantula. Was it? Now that I think about it, was that Scarf Smeargle again? Has to be.
It had to be to
outspeed
Galvantula.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about this because is that a set that Eevee runs? I think I guess
he's done it a lot.
I'm not sure that. I'm not keen on it because to me, that's the easiest double, right? This thing just outsped you and sleep, and maybe you want to reduce your sleep turns with, whatever just caught a spore, but Galvantula ended up waking up later to set webs, and so Eevee spent the entire game with webs on his side. It didn't really end up mattering. It meant that at the very end he got some hits off on Kyurem Black, but it just didn't change the outcome at all. Yeah. There's a couple things that really hurt there. I think the biggest one was that Ace kind of let his Lucario go a little bit too soon, I thought. He really needed that thing around just to like put an end to Kyurem Black when it came in, or to make something switch in and take a close combat. And yeah, it's the fact when after it was gone, Mega Pinsir couldn't hit hard enough to take out Kyurem Black. I mean, it was just rough.
It's an uphill battle after that happens.
He had Luke and Tapu Fini as his Kyurem Black checks, but like he didn't keep them around for long enough. And once they were both gone, Kyurem Black just comes in, clicks Outrage, nothing could KO it, and nothing could take a hit from it.
Yeah,
that was game. So it was a pretty comfortable, like the mid game looked like it was anyone's game, but as soon as I saw Lucario go, it was kind of just like, well, maybe maybe this is going to be Eevee's game anyway.
All right. Well, that being said and done, let's go forward to Huddersfield versus Akron. Akron picking up the 3-0 win. Hydreigon, Meloetta, Mega Caesar, Silvally, Chandelure, and Electros versus Huddersfield bringing Latios, Mega Venusaur, Melodic, Gliscor, Hoopa Unbound, and Sneasel. Hydreigon putting in good work there, picking up 3 kills.
Yeah. Hey, look at both of these rosters. Because if you look at both of them, there is one thing out of the 12 that can take a Draco Meteor.
Actually, I had 3 things that could.
This is why steel types are important.
I brought Assault Vest, Electros, Bulky Meloetta, and Mega Scizor.
So we go from
fair enough.
We go from why you should put a Dark type on your team to why you should put a Steel type on your team.
Yeah, or a Fairy type.
Or a Fairy type.
Yeah, I was just looking at Mega Caesar because otherwise, like, you know, outside of like bulk investment in AV, Electros and Meloetta don't really want to take Dracos either, especially from Specs Latios. Holy cow!
Had max HP 172 SPDF.
Jeez,
that thing was an 84 defense relaxed. That thing was tanking.
Well, that's what Electros is for, kind of.
It was actually for Hoopa U because it was designed for Hoopa U to never Okomi.
Ah, very good.
That's actually kind of tight. I like that.
Because the Electros learns U-turn. And so that's one of the best ways to deal with Hoopa is to be able to tank the hit from Yupa and that from Yupa.
Yupa.
That's what I'm calling Hoopa Unbound from now on is Yupa.
Yupa?
That Hoopa actually turned out to be really cool. That thing was assault vested.
Really?
Oh!
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that it took like very little from that Meloetta Hyper.
Yeah, Meloetta Hyper Voice did like 30%, and at that point I'm like, wait, that should have done a lot more.
Yeah, that's when you sit back and you're like, huh.
That's exactly what I did. I'm like, why did that do so little?
Yeah. But I can see why you'd use Electros as a Hoopa Unbound check because Hoopa Unbound does not like the U-turns at all.
We were just trading Specs Dracos back and forth.
yeah, that's right. So hearing
modest,
Sam,
I know mine was modest
because Sam watched this as well, and hearing him talk about it while he was watching it, it sounds like it was kind of like 2 battleships just shooting broadsides at each other for a large portion of the match.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Find stronger special dragons to drop Dracos from besides those 2.
No,
yeah, I mean, there's not many.
Kyurem White. Easy.
Shout out to Mons that are actually in Draft League.
Yeah. I mean, Megalotti, both of them.
Well, it's not Specs.
Specs would actually do more.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. No, you got me there. You're absolutely correct.
Go get me my Drampa.
You're right.
Just fetch me my Drampa.
Base 135 spat.
Too bad that thing's got like 43 speed.
36.
36.
All right. Well, I think we pretty thoroughly covered
points.
that. And then there's only once again, I think Seattle is the last battle that we have to cover for this particular week.
I gotta talk about this.
Yeah. So Seattle versus Kyoto. Kyoto picks up the win 2-0. Kyoto Klefki's roster this week. Well, their brings this week. Megalatios, Manaphy. Megalatios and Manaphy are on the same team in 2 leagues?
Yeah, and I have to face it next week.
And Togekiss, Hippowdon, Rotom-Mow, and Moltres. Ew, that's a disgusting set of mons to have to fight. And
Also, he didn't bring his Bisharp or his Metagross.
And Seattle brought Mega Mawile, Scolipede, Rotom Wash, Mamoswine, Yanmega, and Sarina. So, close match, but Togekiss just went in.
Was that Nasty Plot or like what was
No,
that? I never got
that
around to
was-
watching.
That was just a modest Togekiss. I'm a little
Oh.
bit like I was a little bit iffy on it because like talking with Infrarouge afterwards, that he was like, "Yo, modest Togekiss kind of bodied your team," and I was like, "Is that true?" Because like there are things like
I mean,
on my
yeah,
brain list.
outside of like
I thought that
Rotom and Ammo.
To me, I was like, I have this, I have like a Rotom Wash and I have a Mamoswine, and both of them came. Like and I mean, I think that really what this match came down to was that I was talking to Clutch about this, is that I felt like I was pretty well in control for a while, and then Rotom Wash went down. I let Mamo go to nab a quick revenge kill. And as soon as Togekiss and Manaphy kind of came out, I started to realize, I was like, I really don't have anything that can beat the two of these.
Yeah.
I think the mistake that I made really was that I ended up doing the calcs later, but like there was a point I brought the Speed Pass Mega Mawile set, pairing again. And there was a point that I could have gotten set up off with that. Like I could have passed Speed to Mega Mawile, and at that point I would have just cleaned house. But I didn't do it because I was just a little bit tentative. I didn't think I could really pull it off. I thought it was a little bit early. But if I had just gone ahead and set up my Sculpede on the remains of his Hippowdon, then I think I could have won the game. But I just felt safer than I had any reason to. If I recall correctly, there was actually there's some kind of an unfortunate circumstance. I think maybe he got a crit on my Rotom Wash or something. There's some reason where I lost my Rotom Wash earlier than I intended to. It might have just been I switched it into something bad, but
right. Well,
yeah. Also, for the record, Yanmega went in here.
Yeah.
I was so proud of my boy.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're proud of that. And hey, I definitely know what it's like to miss your opportunity to set up and lose because of that. Also, there is another box that you can have on your bingo cards now, and that is whenever Sam says, "I talked to Clutch about this," or "I was talking to Clutch about this."
To be fair,
if that wasn't
Clutch and I are about to have an MBL team together.
Yeah. And actually, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that, but we'll talk about that because I realize that's actually something I didn't mention at the beginning. I do want to talk about that because I think we will do coverage of that. Because it's in the off season, we're not going to have much else to cover.
Y'all aren't ready for team bad recorder covers.
We'll get there.
Wow.
We'll get there. But there is one free agent transaction that has happened, and Sam, you know a lot about this free agent transaction because you were the one who made it. And this is in the RDL. I should clarify that because you're in both leagues. So yeah, go tell us about it.
Well, this was us just I called up Clutch on I think it was Friday and was like, "Yo, we've got 3 days to make free agent transactions. Are we going to do anything?" Because at first I was kind of I went into that move with the thought of well, lately Celebi's been putting in a lot of work and we've kind of tabled Hippowdon. And then we would both discuss it and we decided actually no, Hippowdon probably has some utility down the line. We'll see. Let's keep it around just in case. And then discussion moved to Tyrantrum, which has been good for us, but has always kind of felt like a little bit of an odd fit. It's a little bit slower than we'd like. It's just it just hasn't quite it's done some work, but we decided to flip it for something else. We looked through the tier 3s. We considered Heracross and stuff, and then we looked at Porygon 2.
That monster.
Yeah.
Porygon 2.
Sorry, Porygon Z. Jeez.
Z. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, you guys picked up Z.
Well, yeah. And you have Porygon 2, which is this horrid, defensive monster, and Porygon Z, which is this thing that if you don't have a normal resist is terrifying.
Yeah, it just comes in and either clicks Z either clicks Z Hyper Beam or
Mm.
Nasty Plots and then starts clicking Tri Attacks on you.
Yeah, and then the advantage of being a normal type, of course, is this thing where you only have one weakness.
Yeah.
So everything's if you've got a bunch of stuff that's hitting you for neutral, it's actually fairly doable to invest enough in bulk to live most neutral hits,
Right.
which will let you get an agility off or let you get a nasty plot off or let you fire off, some big power attack. Spec Spore on Z is a fantastic set. But the thing is, it's just we're interested in just adding something that it's a little bit faster, it hits a little bit harder on the special side, way harder on the special side. And we're interested to see how much work it can do. We're still out here trying to clinch playoffs, so.
Well, I'm interested to see how much work you can do with it because that'll give me some inspiration for how to use it in a different league that I'm in.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that I honestly I think it's a pretty decent pickup. You can't. It's hard to go wrong when you're picking up a mono normal type. Usually, because
unless you already have one or two.
Unless you already have one or two. But like if you don't have one, or if you only have one other one and it fills a different role than the one you're filling with what you're picking up, it can be really useful. I mean, Snorlax is putting in work in a different league. Clutch knows all about that.
That's fair.
And so it's one of those things where, like I said, you can go wrong with it, but it's hard to because, like you said, normal types only have one weakness. It's pretty easy to plan around that weakness too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Well, I mean, that's why Chansey's tier 1 in a lot of leagues is because it's a bulky normals are a thing, and hard hitting normal sweepers are a thing too. So also notably they have a ghost immunity. So if you have a team that has a couple of good baiters with ghost, Pori Z is actually good at killing ghosts because it has dark pulse.
Phrasing.
Yep. You can go ahead and phrase me for that. I noticed as I was saying that. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anywho, so moving on to what I want to talk about real quick. We're gonna have an off-season league for the RDL, which is an MBL format. For those of you who don't know, MBL stands for Multi-Battle League, right? I'm not wrong on that?
Yeah, you are correct.
Right. So it's, as the name implies, it is multi-battles. So the teams will draft. How does it work exactly? I'll admit, I haven't quite gone in on the rules yet.
Both coaches work together to draft 1 S tier, 2 A tier, 3 B tier, 4 C tier.
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams are piloted. You have 3 mons piloted by each coach. You bring 4.
Mm-hmm.
Each person can have Z moves and megas.
Yep. So,
that's gonna be so
I'll tell you what teams we have, because the teams are compiled of both people who are currently coaches, people who will be coaches, and people who are still reserve coaches in the RDL.
Mm-hmm.
So where is the team list? I think Mike moved.
It's on the first page.
I would say I can read this off because I'm staring at it right now.
I got it. Well, actually, no. You do the honors, Sam.
All right. So we actually have a full roster of 16 right now. As of now, 4 of those coaches are unpaired. So we have 2 teams that are undecided in their pairings. But our current pairs are Andrew and Adam, myself and Clutch, Edgar and Koala, Natural and Dominator, Storm and Nadia, and Cossack and Sakura, who is a newcomer here.
Yep.
So those are the 6 teams that we have so far. Team names are TBD, except for Clutch and I, who are going to be a Team Bad Recorder cover.
We actually decided on our team name as well. Our team is. Did I not mention it? I feel like I mentioned it. No. Maybe I mentioned it to Adam or something.
Team Fort Kickass?
No, we're the Mahogany Town Mammothswine.
Oh, right. I actually do remember hearing that.
Yeah. Which I think is very fitting considering the gym leader for that town uses Mammothswine.
Me and Andrew have been too busy actually planning our draft to worry about a name.
I haven't. Well, my co-coach is in Australia. We've had a hard time scheduling to plan all this out.
So far, we've thought of Team AA batteries.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
Oh, that's actually really good.
You have to run a battery meme team where all your
So,
mons have
MagneZONE.
batteries as the item.
Plus on mine and
Oh, God.
Yes.
The ultimate tag team duo.
Oh, no.
Created for doubles, but garbage in doubles.
Yeah, created for doubles, also just still garbage in doubles.
Mon of the week.
No. maybe we will. Actually, maybe we will. But going on to Mon of the Week, which I think is what he actually meant by that.
No.
No?
He meant Plusle for Mon of the Week.
Oh.
May or may not have meant both.
Well, we have our Mon of the Week for this week, which is... Clutch, why don't you tell them the Mon of the Week? Not because I forgot.
What was it?
It was Roserade, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah, sure. Let's do Roserade.
I think we did talk about Roserade, and Roserade should be what we go with.
I feel like we've talked about Roserade before.
Maybe.
We talked about Roserade.
Oh no,
because it's
I remember
so
what
good.
it was. Sorry, it was Qwilfish. We were going to talk about Qwilfish. Yeah.
It was Qwilfish.
Oh yeah, my boy Qwilfish.
Yeah, Qwilfish. Notably sets both types of spikes, which is really nice.
Intimidate.
Yep, it does have Intimidate.
Swim for memes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can get those real fast spikes up under rain.
Destiny Bond.
If you're not running SD Qwilfish in the rain, you're not doing it right.
Okay.
Pain Split.
Yeah. First of all, let's talk about how Qwilfish has a weird moveset.
First off, why does it have 95 base attack? Like, why is that usable?
Yeah, it actually does have usable base attack, so that's something to
Qwilfish in the rain. Get
Yeah.
them on.
And a random coverage set.
It does have a random coverage set.
Yo, you can run that defensive curse set.
Gets priority.
It gets Fell Stinger.
Yeah.
What?
Yo, it gets Fell Stinger. It gets Gyro Ball.
You guys are looking over the greatest move in the game. Taunt.
Explosion. Damn it.
Oh yeah. It does get Explosion though.
It does get
It
Explosion.
does get Taunt. It's kind of fast too.
Yeah, I think that the thing that people mostly see Qwilfish for is like a support move pool, and it has a great support move pool. It has Haze, like it has Taunt, it has both kinds of spikes.
It has Stockpile.
Z stockpile Qwilfish.
That's an actual thing.
Yeah.
And
Doubles.
it
Yeah.
gets Throat Shot.
It's
Interesting.
how is a Mon with no arms gonna throat chop anything? Is it like
It's
with
gonna hit
the
you
flipper on
with
the
the
back?
The tail.
No, it's the
with the tail.
Yeah, clearly. Okay.
It just kind of swings around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The attacking animation from this thing is actually funny as hell to watch.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I mean,
swims up,
it's a pufferfish.
turns
Like
right back.
it's a pufferfish. It also gets T-Wave.
Yeah. Support move pool is fantastic. It's a great little
Yeah.
bulky water kind of pivot thing going on there.
Yeah, it's
And like, you get Thunder Wave, you get spikes up, you can Pain Split off fat.
yeah. You get
Also can be
toxic
kind of supportive
spikes.
with Acid Spray too.
Yep.
Stab acid.
Okay,
spray.
so this is going onto my list for next season.
For whatever
it's an
reason.
Atomon. It's an Atomon.
Yeah.
It kind of is, not gonna lie. I like it. It gets Toxic Spikes.
It also
That's
gets
all I
Haze.
need.
Haze.
Yep.
Oh, hey, look, Taunt and Haze.
Oh man.
Shut up all them walls.
Yeah. Shut out setup sweepers. Shut off walls. Shut off everything. Yeah,
And-
it's a decent
yeah.
stall breaker.
Yeah, it's wow.
Then all
I-
you need is what's Payapa Berry, so you
Oh,
can
yeah.
take that Psychic hit, haze everything away.
It gets priority too.
Jet. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets Jet.
Yo, run that Scarf Destiny Bond set.
There's the set.
That's there we go.
Scarf,
We've cracked the
Destiny
code.
Bond, Explosion, Liquidation, Poison Jab.
That's all you need.
I mean, it can also run Flame Orb Facade.
Okay.
Bingo card, everybody.
And
Bingo.
check and bingo.
And
Somebody out there.
bingo.
Yeah.
Yo, did we already say Swords Dance? Because it gets Swords Dance.
Yeah.
I said SD in the rain.
Yeah.
There you go.
It,
Oh man,
it's also
that's actually
it's
good.
it's I don't know if it's quite slow enough to use this, but it does get Gyro Ball.
It's probably not slow enough.
I don't think it's quite slow
80
enough.
85 is not slow
Fuck.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
It'll
unless
do
you're
nothing.
clicking it on a Mega Diancie,
Fair.
Yeah, but
the only
even
time.
then,
Yeah, even then, I'd rather liquidation.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you usually want a liquidation over it in that
And
situation.
wait, unless you run curse, drop your speed, then click gyro ball.
We've gone too far. We've gone
This
too
is to
far.
go even
Season.
further
Let me
beyond.
think. I'm planning.
Oh
Jeez.
man, it does get
Adam,
rest.
please
You
no.
can run.
I brought Iron Ball Fortress last
You
season.
can run
I'll
Qwilfish.
do it.
You can run Qwilfish.
Qwilfish.
Why not?
Oh man, what have I done? What have I
Exactly.
done?
I ask myself the same question.
Well, yeah, that's gonna cover Mon of the Week this week. So we'll be talking about.
Hold on. Just to let everybody know, Qwilfish has a ranking in the OE viability ranking.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Really?
It is C in OUVRs. That's all. Go ahead, Cossack. Sorry.
Well, with that huge bombshell, that's gonna close us out today.
Bombshell. Qwilfish gets explosion.
Wow.
Oh man.
Illuminati confirmed.
Anyway, next week
Qwilfish
we'll be talking more about the playoff picture for the RDL, and maybe well, I don't know because it'll still be week 7, so it's not far enough in for Alola International to talk about that. But we'll talk more about that stuff then. As per usual, we'll do our usual coverage, and there is like one more set of free agent transactions that took place recently, earlier in the week that we're recording this, that will take effect next week. So we will be talking about those too. So stay tuned for all that. And until next time, may your drafts, may you not get sniped in your drafts, and may your games go relatively hacks free.
Don't throw.
Don't throw. Peace.